All right, everyone, please take your seats. We're gonna get started very soon, in the next 30 seconds. I apologize, I used to be an English teacher, so I have this sort of manner sometimes. But you guys look beautiful, congratulations. Woo, yeah, yeah. Okay, yes, you just take your seats. How's my sound? I hope I'm not, okay. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Athena Lau, and I'm the president of the Harvard Asian American Alumni Alliance, or H4A. And thank you. And just on behalf of our organization, all of the organizers, I warmly welcome you to the class of 2025's Pan-Asian API Affinity Celebration. Yay! We are so proud to have students, families, friends, faculty, alumni, all of you here with us today. So whether you came from just across the river, from campus right across the street, or from across the globe, your presence is a gift. So it's also a reminder of how powerful our community is when we show up for each other and stand together as one. So before we go any further, I want to make two acknowledgments. First, we acknowledge that we have gathered today on the traditional and unceded lands of the Massachusetts people. And second, let us also acknowledge our ancestors who labored, who loved, who resisted and dreamed so that we could be here today. So as many of you know, this event almost didn't happen. So a little history about Affinity celebrations. Affinity celebrations started from student grassroots organizing to make sure places like Harvard heard loud and clear that our identities and our communities matter. That's right. A few years ago, Harvard decided rightfully that the university should fund and centrally coordinate the 10+ Affinity celebrations, including ours, that take place during commencement week. However, this year, as you may have seen, Harvard decided at the very end of April, so just a few short weeks ago, that they could no longer play any role in officially funding or supporting these events. And you can guess why. There's a lot going on in the news. But what happened was in 3 weeks, we launched an emergency campaign to save our Pan-Asian API Affinity celebration. And guess what? That's right, yes, that's right, that's the energy we want. And guess what? When we called, people stepped up. Together, we raised over $20,000 in 3 weeks to make this celebration possible. Because of all of you, because of all of us, 1,000 students are receiving heritage stoles this week. That's right, today, that's right. Because of all of you, because of all of us, 650 people, well, maybe not that much, but they registered for this ceremony, and we are all gathered in community right now at this church. And at a time when so many outside malign forces are attempting to question and to diminish our presence, ceremonies like this are essential. That's right. So international students and scholars, any of you here, anyone whose legal statuses have been threatened, we see you. For those who are citizens but who are being targeted simply because of their ethnicity or how they look or because someone's just a little suspicious, we see you. And let the ceremony be a reminder that we are not invisible. We are not just pawns in a political game. So today, let us not talk about shame, trauma, fear, and the forces that seek to divide us. But today, and for the rest of this week, as you deserve, let us speak about what unites us: our strength, our resourcefulness, our resilience, and our joy. So congratulations, class of 2025. Great. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, I know there's going to be a lot of cheering. Your voices are going to be a bit hoarse at the end of this, but that's a good thing. We're going to recognize the graduates who make up our beautiful and diverse Pan-Asian and AAPI community. So when I call your school, please stand if you are able and remain standing until we call all the schools. And everyone, once you hear the school, once you hear someone who's from that school, your friend, whatever, you can cheer and keep cheering. Okay, so once you hear your school, just stand up and wave, all that. All right, so first up, Harvard College. Harvard College folks. Okay, great. Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. Harvard Extension School. Keep standing. Yes, Harvard Extension School. That's right. Harvard Business School. Harvard Divinity School. Harvard Kennedy School. Harvard Law School. The Graduate School of Design. The Graduate, yeah, that's right. The Graduate School of Education. Okay, all right. Harvard Medical School. Harvard Medical School. Harvard School of Dental Medicine. And the T.H. Chan School of Public Health. All right. So presenting the Pan-Asian API graduates of Harvard's class of 2025. Thank you. You may now be seated. All right. So I know that many of you have a lot of things going on, but we have a wonderful short program for you here today. We're going to have speakers and then stick around for thank yous and a group photo, and then you're free to disperse and go do great things in the world. So for this section, we're now honored to hear from 4 incredible speakers who represent the breadth of our community across disciplines, degrees, and generations. And I have pulled up on my phone people's bios. Okay, so first representing our bachelor's degree graduates, we're going to hear from Vivian Nguyen, so class 2025, obviously. She's, yeah. Love it. Yes, Vivian fan club. Vivian is a senior in Eliot House, concentrating in social studies with a secondary in statistics and a citation in Mandarin. She served as president of the Harvard Vietnamese Association and the vice president of Harvard Model Congress Asia, and she's been an advocate for Southeast Asian studies and representation, as well as civic education. She also served as president of the Harvard Undergraduate Foreign Policy Initiative, where she organized policy projects with various government and NGOs and cross-collegiate conferences around the world. After Harvard, Vivian hopes to continue fostering international dialogue, especially on the topics of education, gender equity, and transitional justice through law and diplomacy. Very impressive. So please welcome to the stage, Vivian Nguyen.
Thank you, Athena, for that lovely introduction, and thank you to H4A for organizing such an amazing event. We were initially so disappointed to hear that Harvard would not be hosting, but we're so happy to have an amazing alumni network like you guys to pull through for us. Good afternoon, graduates, family, and friends. Today, we are here to celebrate the achievements of and recognize the Pan-Asian AAPI community at Harvard. Over the last 4 years, I found that being an Asian college student here has meant a couple of things. A little disappointment in most HUD's attempts at any Asian cuisine, like truly any. A little disappointed in myself when I admit that my favorite HUD's meal is General Gao's chicken, which is just chicken nuggets tossed in orange sauce with broccoli. It's delicious though, I promise. A sense of joy when I see our art, music, research, visiting scholars being highlighted and discussed here on campus. And a sense of frustration when I could not find a class about Southeast Asian studies, or when conversations about Asian America seems to center around a single narrative. APITA, API, Asian American. These terms were never meant to classify us or group us culturally. They were created during the Civil Rights era as a political identity, a way to unite us under a shared umbrella. In grouping people together from dozens of countries with hundreds of languages and thousands of years of distinct histories and cultures, organizers then and now hope to rally our individual communities into one larger collective. And at the time it was controversial, and in many ways it still remains so. Because the truth is that the stories and lived experiences of a Filipino immigrant, an Afghan refugee, a third-generation Chinese-Canadian American, and an Indian international student cannot be fit into one box. To do so diminishes the very diversity that I argue gives this collective its strength. But that doesn't make this shared community insignificant. Rather, it means that our power lies not in uniformity, but in bringing our differences together. For me, being API at Harvard has been very much centered around the Vietnamese community. Especially at the beginning of my college experience, HVA, or the Harvard Vietnamese Association, was my go-to for a space without judgment, with guaranteed laughter and heart, and where my cultural identity was immediately understood without much explanation. Over the course of the last 4 years, that core sentiment has not wavered. But from running HVA to working on building community for other organizations, I've come to understand the work behind this feeling. Community is never a given, nor is it easily attained. It is fostered through saying hello in the dining halls or shouting across Mass Ave. It is built through answering the call for late-night boba runs, where the conversation can finally move beyond just talking about the fickle Boston weather. It is cemented in shared Lunar New Year events in Kirkland D Hall, open invites to participate in multicultural showcases like Goongaroo and ADT, and in open dialogues about navigating multiple parts of our identities in and out of Harvard. And it's tested when our communities are called upon to take a stand. When students for fair admissions tried and used us as a way to roll back racial equity in higher education, we refused to be weaponized. 25 Harvard student organizations, including numerous Asian affinity groups, signed onto an amicus curiae to the Supreme Court, stating that we, as a collective and as a community, believed in the power of a race-conscious admissions process. Just this past week, when the status and safety of our international friends were targeted, we didn't stay silent. We checked in on them, we supported them, and today at 5:30 p.m. in Science Center Plaza, we'll stand in solidarity with them. As we move on from Harvard, I hope we remember that community is not just something we inherit, nor is it automatic. It's something that's been intentionally built and reinforced in classrooms, in shared meals, especially over General Gao's chicken, through art, through dialogue, and advocacy. It's also something we only benefit from when we contribute to it, whether that means showing up for each other or simply checking in. Thank you, and congrats to the class of 2025.
Thank you so much, Vivian. Next up, representing the master's graduates, we will hear from Jared Shum. During his time at Harvard, Jared has been actively involved in student life, participating in Harvard Athlete Ally, Harvard BJJ, Harvard Judo, Harvard Run Club, and Harvard LDSSA. Beyond campus, he's passionate about serving his community, and he's served on the boards of several nonprofit organizations, including Stop API Hate, API Equity Alliance, Chinese for Affirmative Action, the Love Loud Foundation, and First Tea. After graduation, Jared will head to the Midwest to join an impact investing fund, while also continuing to pursue his passion of coaching the next generation of elite swimmers. Very impressive. So please welcome to the stage, Jared Shum.
Graduating students and honored guests, I stand before you today as the proud son of Asian parents, as a proud Asian American. I wish I could say that I've always been proud, but that would be untrue. Truthfully, I wasn't always sure where I belonged. During my formative years, I was lucky. I grew up in a very diverse and liberal part of California and was never directly bullied for my race. But there were other moments, quiet moments, lunchbox moments, you know the ones, when you open up your neatly packed leftovers from home and suddenly you're no longer just a kid trying to eat lunch. You're a cultural ambassador, a curiosity, sometimes even a punchline. And it's in those small, seemingly forgettable moments that the feeling settles in. I am different. There were times I felt not American enough and not Asian enough, always caught in the in-between, hovering in the hyphen of Asian American, unsure of which side I had to lean toward to be accepted, unsure of whether I had the right to fully claim either side at all. But somewhere along the way, I stopped trying to fit in, and I started to stand tall, which, believe me, at 5'4", does not come naturally. Because the truth is, we don't have to choose between parts of ourselves. Our identity isn't a trade-off. It's a symphony, a blending of cultures, histories, languages, and dreams. And so if you've ever felt like you were too much of one thing or not enough of another, let me be the one to tell you, you belong. You belong in this room, you belong in this country, you belong in this moment. You are meant to be here. Just a few steps away from here stands Dexter Gate, When you enter through it, you read the words, enter to grow in wisdom. And for the time we've been here, I believe we've done exactly that. In lecture halls, in libraries, and yes, even in the conversations, in challenges, and in community. And when I think about wisdom, I think about my late father. Every night at the dinner table, he'd ask my sister and I what we had learned that day. And if I answered, I don't know, or nothing, he wouldn't scold me. He'd quietly say, you learn something every day. And we'd sit in silence until I could come up with something, anything that I had learned. As a professional educator, he taught me that learning isn't limited to classrooms and that wisdom isn't measured in grades or a degree. That the real lesson, the lifelong one, is to always stay curious, always stay learning. Which brings me back to Dextergate, because the real test is not what we've learned here, but what we do with it when we walk out. The words you see as you leave the yard through Dextergate are depart to serve thy country and thy kind. And that is our charge now, to take the knowledge we've gained, the pride we've reclaimed, and the voices we carry and serve. Because our diversity is not something to hide. It is our power, it is our voice, it is our gift. So to my fellow graduates, stand tall, be proud, be bold, and keep learning. Walk forward with courage, because when we stop apologizing for who we are, we make more room for others to do the same. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you. That was lovely, Jared. And also justice for fellow short Asians. I'm 5'2", so I totally get it. So our third speaker will be Pauline Nuth, who is a Doctor of Public Health graduate from the School of Public Health. She specializes, yeah, that's right. She specializes in digital health and AI strategy and innovation. And she served as a student leader over the past 3 years, including as president of the Public Health Innovation and Technology Group and founder and president of the AAPI Healthcare Leaders at the School of Public Health. And before Pauline comes up, I want to also recognize that she and Jared have played an instrumental role, along with a few others, in helping organize this. Literally just an hour ago, she was helping, register people, building a balloon arch, and doing all sorts of things just to make this happen. So we are very grateful. So please welcome to the stage, Pauline.
I'm gonna make a quick joke. You know the AT&T raising the bar? We're lowering the bar. So Athena's 5'2", I'm 5 feet, so it's all good. This is part of the Asian diaspora. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming and joining the ceremony. We're gonna wrap up soon. But I wanna take today and this moment to ask you all to just take a pause, reflect, and celebrate. Whether you're earning your bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, this is more than academic achievement. It's about resilience, identity, and community. Before I share my story, I invite you to take a moment to reflect. What did it take for you to get here? Not just the long nights or the deadlines, but the people who came before you. The quiet sacrifices, the dreams passed down, the love that carried you even when things felt uncertain. We all carry stories that don't show up on diplomas or resumes. For me, that story begins with my parents. They were teenagers in Cambodia during the Khmer Rouge, survivors of genocide, forced labor, and displacement. They nearly lost everything. Education wasn't just denied, it was erased. And to learn, to think, to question, that alone could cost you your life. And yet, guided by hope, grounded in love, sustained by faith, and supported by community, my parents survived and rebuilt their lives in America. They made a living running small businesses, from donut shops to coffee shops, work that was relentless, laborious, and often 24/7. It demanded everything they had, day in and day out. And all through it, they held on to their faith in God and the belief that something better was possible. That belief made it possible that their daughter one day would graduate with a doctorate from Harvard. And through this story isn't mine alone, it's theirs. And it belongs to so many of us who carry more than a degree across the stage. Growing up, I remember seeing a few rare photos from their time in refugee camps. Even surrounded by devastation, there was laughter, music, dancing. Somehow, in the middle of loss, they still made space for joy. That taught me something. I've held on to, especially in the hardest of seasons over the past years, from the isolation of COVID to the quiet struggles of dissertation writing 3 a.m. in the morning. Joy isn't what we wait for. It's something we protect even when it's hard. Through my graduate studies in adaptive leadership, I've learned that thriving in complexity means moving beyond the either or thinking. Life is rarely one thing. It's full of tension, contradiction, and truth. One principle that stayed with me is something deceptively simple but deeply powerful. It's the principle of yes and. Rooted in adaptive leadership, it teaches us to embrace complexity rather than avoid it, to hold space for multiple truths at once. Yes, this journey was hard, and yes, we are still here. Yes, we carry grief, and yes, we've earned this joy. And yes, we are shaped by our past, and yes, we are authors of our future. This isn't just theory, it's something our communities have lived for generations. We've learned how to survive and how to celebrate just like today. We've learned how to hold multitudes. So today is more than a ceremony, it's a golden passage from survival to recognition, from struggle to joy, from silence to voice. And I don't walk this passage alone. I walk with my parents, my mentors, and all of you today, many of whom and our ancestors, many of whom who've never gotten to be spaces like this, but made it possible for us to thrive. We stand on the shoulders of giants, and now we're becoming giants ourselves, so that future generations may too rise. So my wish for each of us is this: may we carry our stories with pride, may we lead with courage and compassion, may we hold joy close even in uncertain times, and may we never forget that our presence, our brilliance, and our belonging is not just earned, they are inherited, shared, and deeply deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Pauline. And for our last speaker, we are all honored to welcome back an alum who has remained deeply engaged in public service throughout his career. So this is Darshak Sanghavi, class from Harvard College, 1992. I know Darshak from the board of H4A. He's one of our most active and devoted board members. He was also a past chair of the Boston chapter for H4A. And beyond that, in his professional life, he's led the Department of Pediatric Cardiology at UMass Medical School. He's also a best-selling author and journalist, and he served as a senior official in Democratic and Republican administrations and as an executive in major US and global healthcare companies. He's really cool. And he's also a beast at ping pong. I have tried to play him, and I don't think I got any ball back across the net. So please welcome to the stage a wonderful alum, Darshak Sanghavi. Thank you.
So I want to tell you about caterpillars. In 2008, scientists made the improbable, if extraordinary, observation that certain pain responses newly taught to caterpillars persisted even after their entire bodies turned to goo during the metamorphosis in a pupa. And the memory of their prior lives remained in the adult moth. Recently, data suggested some of these behaviors can even be passed down from generation to generation in these creatures. We've been told for years that the body keeps the score after trauma. These studies suggest that these effects, whether epigenetic or neural, are part of something even deeper and more long-lasting than just physical scars. This would come as no surprise to my mother, Rita, who legally emigrated to the United States from India when she was pregnant with me, I guess making me something of an anchor baby. We came here, she would say, with $40 in our pockets and nothing else. Goes the story my dad, Mahendra, and she'd tell, which I suspect all immigrants and some of you in this very audience have conspired to tell your own children. Almost daily, my parents would remind me and my sister of the sacrifices they and my grandparents made just so someday we could be here. These reminders were often delivered with a healthy number of idioms in my family's native Gujarati tongue. And these insults were as colorful as they were cutting when my sister and I misbehaved. These critiques embedded the memory and behaviors of my being South Asian into my psyche, and my very being as surely as those caterpillars undergoing conditioning. My parents would say, "Sukam tu darshak tu akal no dushman che," which loosely translates to, "Why are you the sworn enemy of intelligence?" Or, "Darshak tu sukam maru mathu khai chai che avi rite," which means, "Why are you eating my head?" So today I want to reflect on this. What is it that we take and carry forward and pass along from our Asian American cultural heritage? Is it only generational stress, or is there also a cultural inheritance that can affirm our lives? I have come to believe that there surely is, and this realization came to me in bits and pieces. Like when my son Ryan was born, and I watched him on the delivery table. He was this brilliant blue color, often used artistically in the depictions of Hindu gods Vishnu and Shiva. And when my son took his first breath of earthly air with a piercing cry, I thought of the myth of Brahma, who created the universe and willed it into being with the word Om. Or how my culinary tastes, or what I'm drawn to instinctively, include the flavors of saffron and cardamom and tamarind and coriander and cumin. Or even in my hopeless but persistent suggestions to my own sons that they someday decide to go to medical school. My point is that the generational inheritance from my culture has a joyful and at times humorous aspect as well. And I realized that even having grown up in New Jersey, my goo was still my goo. I often frame my world with my South Asian perspective. Which brings me to the most vital story from my culture that I tell myself, and I want to share with you all. Many Hindus believe, and many like me, believe this metaphorically rather than literally, in the concept of samsara, where all things are imbued with souls that undergo repeated cycles of birth and death and rebirth in the quest to attain enlightenment. Kind of like those caterpillars imprinted in prior lives. We are said to hold the moral weight of the pain and joy and bad and good in our souls, spending our lives to little by little, but inexorably trying to accumulate more and more good karma. Good, even great news are embedded in this mythology. If you mess up, you get to try again and again, life after life, until you get it right. Everyone and everything in this view gets to where they need to go. You take detours, you fail, you succeed, you love, you lose, you take, you give. You take your time to figure it all out and to get to what is called moksha, or the ideal state. I love this optimism, and I take comfort from it. There are, of course, consequences to accumulating bad juju, but we have the choice to keep inching along and staying in the fight. So it's never too late for each of us, and even our collective nation, and there's never a point of no return. This metaphor has gotten me through some dark times and helped me to see the good in people and remain curious and optimistic even when that's hard. You and we can always start being the best version of ourselves at this point in your education or the next, in this year or the next, even in this hour or the next. Let that be our final blessing on this graduation celebration, that during times of doubt and despair, each of you find and draw strength from your own cultural inheritance, whether Asian American or otherwise, and that these touchstones serve you well on your own karmic metamorphosis as you grow your own extraordinary and iridescent wings. See you on the way to the skies. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Darsha. That was lovely. So now we come to one of the most meaningful parts of our celebration, which is the stole ceremony. So I know you all were wearing stoles earlier to take photos, but if you could just take it off, humor me and take it off. So this moment is about honoring the journey, your journey, the one that brought you to Harvard, through Harvard, and now will take you beyond the gates of Harvard. So here's what we're going to do. Turn to someone or some people near you, whether it's a classmate, a family member, a mentor, a friend of me, just kidding. But if you came alone, don't worry. There are people here who would be honored, I think, to share this moment with you. So yeah, give the stole to someone who's maybe not graduating or is a fellow graduate. And so what we're gonna do is, you might wanna stand for this too. I just feel like that carries more heft. Yeah, so, I know, I love it. So what you're going to do is we're gonna take a deep breath together, and when you're ready, you're either gonna place that stole on yourself or have someone else place it on you. So, okay. I'm gonna count 3, 2, 1, and then when I say like, you may now bestow the stole on the graduate, you can put it on that person. Okay, so you guys ready? All right, so I say 3, 2, 1, you may now bestow the stole on the new graduate. This moment is for all of you and for all of us. Yes. Yeah, take the photo, put it on Instagram and tag us Harvard Asian Alumni, thank you. Please, okay. So this moment and the placing of the stole represents everything you carry, your heritage, your identity, what your ancestors have passed down through generations, what connects you to them, as well as your own work ethic, your resilience, and your purpose. So yes, take this moment to remind yourself that you belong here and you always have. Okay, so if everyone could just take a seat, we're almost done. Just a few more things. I know, but you guys look amazing. So as we close, I want to say thank you. So first, thank you to First Parish Church for opening their doors to us so we could hold this event. Thank you, Kate in the back for tech, Carol who helped us, all the staff here, our photographer Wes too. Second, thank you to our 127 donors from the Harvard community who helped us raise the $20,000 that we needed to provide these stoles and host this event. It was from all over the world, so we're very thankful. So third, thank you to our student and alumni organizing committee, and to my fellow alumni leaders, Yushen in the back. She's one of our DC chapter head. She's our DC chapter head on our global board. Darshak, who we heard speak, and An, who's our Boston chair. She's taking a photo of me right now at the piano. But if you were on the organizing committee or on H4A leadership, could you please stand so that we can recognize you? Thank you so much. Yeah. And finally, I want to thank all of our families and loved ones here, anyone biological or chosen family. We see you and we honor you. So if you're one of those, if that's your category, could you stand so we can say thank you? Parents, partners, chosen family, friends, thank you. Yeah. Great. Yeah. All right, so before we part ways, we're gonna take 3 photos. So first, we'll just do the speakers. If the speakers could come to the front of the stage, we're gonna take a photo of them. And then as they're doing that, if you are a graduate, so just graduates, not family, just yet, sorry. If you could start gathering in the aisles, we're gonna take a group photo all together with this backdrop, because we thought that looked really cool. But so that will require it'll require all of us to use our Harvard brains of like trying to get in lines and shorter people in front, taller people in the back, all that. So if you could just gather in the aisle and wait, and then once we take the speaker photos, we'll take a group photo, okay? Does that work for, yeah, that works for all of us. Yeah, we're gonna take a serious photo and a silly photo, so get those faces ready. And after the photo, feel free to use the stage, church, and the 2 photo booths that will be set up shortly for more photos with your family, friends, and the people who made this journey meaningful. Yeah, so thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, so now new graduates, if you guys could kind of come towards the stage. Just let me know how we're, yeah, make new friends. You're gonna have to come in close. And if you're a family, I know mom and dad want to take a photo too, but if you guys could maybe just wait a second, just because we have a professional photographer if you look up at the balcony, that's where he's located. Yeah, so everyone, once you find your place, look up at the balcony. Oh yes, that's right. This is Harvard quality line making. Yes. Okay. That's right. Taller people in the back, shorter people in the front. Make new friends. Clump in, guys. Maybe those. Wes, are the folks on the edge? Is that okay, or should we get people? Okay, great. Love that. Okay. Yes. So yes. If you are wearing a stole, meaning you are a graduate, I think, please come. Please come to the stage. Oh, we have a few more. We have a few more folks. Whoops, yes. Wow, I am so impressed at how efficient we are. Should I stay here or should I? Okay, cool. All grads accounted for. Okay, so first, should we tell people to okay, yeah, so I'm so sorry, family. Can you guys move back because we love you, but we don't want the back of your heads in this photo. Yeah, so family, actually, you shouldn't too, you might, sorry. Yeah, tell me when they can should they keep moving back or? Keep moving back. Actually, you guys gotta just get out of the front. Yeah, can you guys no, sorry. I'm so sorry, I don't want to insult anyone's family. Just please, keep moving back, because, sorry. Okay, so yes, all right. Okay, oops. I see all right, so on the count of 3, we're gonna do a serious photo, so everyone look up at the balcony. 1, 2, 3, serious photo. Big smile. Big smile. All right, and then let's do a silly photo. Count of 1, 2, 3, silly photo. All right, we good? Thank you. So class of 2025, you made it! Yay, congrats! It's good. That's it, yeah. No, it's okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. All right, I will move off the stage. People can take photos here. We will also have 2 photo booths set up on the sides. You can get a physical print once that's done. Yeah, and please, if you have any photos from today and you want to tag us at Harvard Asian Alumni on Instagram, we will use that. Thank you for being here. Yay, woo! Congrats.